Welcome to Project 308. My name is Lou Trottier, and if you joined me for part number 25 a week ago, you actually were with me for a little bit of a momentous occasion. You see, part number 1 and part number 25 were exactly, almost to the day, 1 year apart. So, that's kind of a milestone, an anniversary or something like that. I thought, hey, it's a great time to change things up a bit. So let's change the format a bit, and I'm gonna go season 2, episode 1. That's a real change. But the real treat is about to happen right now because I'm actually meeting with Rob, the guy I bought this car off of for a couple years ago. He's dying to see it, and I'm dying to hear some stories. So let's meet with him right now. Rob?
Yeah, Rob Magro.
You're a Porsche certified master tech. You're a Mercedes certified master tech. Acura. Your current job, from what I understand it, is at Honda Canada.
Correct. Yeah, I work for Honda Canada. Mostly involved with new NSX.
Really? So you're the lead of the tech team that.
Yeah.
What's your title?
So there's a lot of
many titles.
Yeah, many titles, but technical lead.
For people who don't understand how this works, when a problem occurs at a dealership level, technician calls into the Honda Canada in the States, the Honda US tech line. They get a series of technicians that are trained specifically on the car that help them out.
Correct.
And you are the lead of that team.
That's correct. That's correct, yeah.
There you go. To say he's like rock and roll quality level superstar in the automotive world, I think he meets that criteria. I think you meet the criteria to be able to judge this car.
Yeah, you're making me blush.
I know.
Yeah.
The auction that you bought it from.
Yeah. The auction was RM Auction Cars, actually. RM in Chad.
Oh, okay.
They're from Chad.
Yeah.
And there was a Lamborghini. Not a Countach or anything like that.
Okay.
I forgot the model, but it was a cheap one. It was going up. I missed it.
Yeah.
And then this was coming up.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay. And
So what kind of auction was it? Do you remember?
It was an online auction.
It wasn't eBay?
No, this guy, he was a collector. The guy that owned this car, he was a collector. And he had about 100 cars and motorcycles.
Yeah.
It was nuts. He had this huge barn.
But what was the description on the car? Because the car wasn't running. What car wasn't
there was
running?
none. Just said Ferrari 308. That's it.
Really?
I think maybe the year.
Okay.
It was sight unseen, and it was just like a picture of it, right?
Okay. Like what one picture shot through a greasy lens of like a 1980 cell phone.
Oh, basically, yeah, exactly. We got the Ferrari, and it wasn't really what I thought it was. It was missing an interior.
It was a piece of junk.
Well, it was okay.
Call it what it was.
I was okay with it. It was.
Well, you're a mechanic.
It's like when you first see it, I go, "Ooh, it's worse than I thought," right?
Yeah.
But it could have been worse.
It's kind of how I felt.
You get that buyer's remorse after you purchase it.
Yeah.
But funny story, just quick.
Okay.
So my buddy from work that came down, he helped drive.
Okay.
He just offered to come. I said, look, since you helped me drive so much, you could have anything you want. And we're in Maine, like lobster, there's everything.
Oh, food.
I thought we were getting lobster, right?
I was like,
basically,
where are you going with this?
Yeah, dinner is on me. He picks KFC.
And what a deal for you.
I don't know if we can say this, but you could cut this out. It was the worst KFC I've ever had in my life. And I was so mad at it.
Is there such a good thing as good KFC? I mean,
well, back in the day.
Oh yeah, I know. Okay, well, what year was this approximately? So I know this is going back.
Yeah, this is going back. So my son. So that would be like 8 or 9 years. Like
Well, more than that.
Maybe 9, because he's 9 now. So.
Okay.
Yeah, about 8.5.
All right. So then you pulled it all the way here. You cross-border. You pulled it across the border, and then you frickin' parked it.
Yeah. Yeah, it sat. My wife didn't talk to me for over a year. She was very upset, right?
Well, the funny story there is I know Rob through his wife.
Yeah.
That's how we know each other. Even though we're both like Acura mechanics.
Yeah.
There's like this small little incestuous circle of.
There is. We all know each other.
I know through Michelle. Yeah.
Some guy from a classic car magazine, some writer, he was there, and he shows the car and he said, son, it kind of got me upset at the time. He goes, "Oh, this is a car that definitely will be parted out." And I was mad. I didn't want to hear that, right? I'm like, "Are you kidding me? No, this is a Ferrari. It's a carbureted Ferrari, and definitely not." I heard the story from him. He was a doctor, and he was a doctor back in the 70s where he was helping some sheiks, where they had a problem where they They were doing a lot of drugs, and they were getting addicted to it.
Okay.
So he worked for a pharmaceutical company that helped them. You know, they take this medication to get them off, to get rid of the addiction.
Yeah.
Okay. He made a lot of money. The families loved him.
Okay.
And they would gift him with really rare cars. Well, even before this, I don't know if this is a gifted car, but he had these cars that today are worth like $5-10 million. Problem was, and everybody kind of knows this guy, he made a mistake because he sold too early. Like he thought, okay, you know what, the car's worth a couple of $100,000. I'm selling everything, right?
And what a mistake if he had some cool,
right. So he made a bunch of money on that, and he bought more cars.
Yeah.
You know, not as the same quality, but he bought a whole bunch. So his whole, like there was a field and everything full of cars and bikes. Like there was like 50 BMW motorcycles.
Okay. I'm sure somebody watching this knows who you're talking about.
And I was trying to get the history of this, and he couldn't remember.
But you know what? I actually understand now that this car spent some time in Holland.
No,
yeah,
is that right?
Yeah. So
that's
one of the guys.
I love the history behind a car.
When I was searching through the history of it, I saw that it had crossed the ocean.
Oh.
So like there's.
How did you find that out?
I was doing the you go to the Ferrari search thing, and I didn't get very far with it, but I knew there was something on the other side of the world. And then one of the commenters, I'll put it up on the screen now, said he had the plate number and everything, and I'll show it to you later. And I'm like, how cool is that?
Wow,
so it's got a history. There's no question about it. But
I don't know why there was no interior. That was driving me crazy. The only thing I was thinking, you hear all the stories, maybe it was at a body shop. When I started pricing out the parts, even back then.
Yes.
Back then, Lou, it was crazy. It was, it was more than I've ever touched before.
For whatever, when a part is $1 worth of value on this car, it's $4.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's
4, 10, whatever.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, it was. I couldn't believe it. Like the dashboard. I was looking at the guys that had the parts.
Yeah.
Okay. They wanted anywhere from $3,500 to $5,000 for a dash.
For a dash.
Used dash, right? And I lucked out. I found one for I think $1,500 or something like that.
Yeah.
Which to me was a lot of money for a dash, right? A used dash. Seats. You could spend a fortune for seats.
Because somebody pulled the air conditioning out of it, they butchered it out.
Oh, I didn't know. That I never knew about.
No, the air conditioning. There's a big, massive hole where the evaporator went that I don't even know what I'm going to do about. But it's next on my list of. Well, it's not next. It's further away.
We could put a Honda. Like we get a Honda Civic. No. Okay. I just. Trying to help you out. I feel bad because I sold your car that's supposed to have AC in it.
Well, that was a deal breaker for me.
Yeah.
Speaking of the deal, when I bought the car, I came with my girlfriend, and you got to remember, I know Rob's wife Michelle, and Rob was you were really quite, and I'm not going to say upset, but you were very animated that day. And I know your wife's not watching.
Oh, she would have handed you keys for nothing.
Oh yeah, but it was funny because you had the check in your hand.
Yeah.
And you were writing the receipt, and I could see you were faltering. I could see.
Yeah.
Oh shit. And you're like, I can't do this. And then your wife had her back to me. And so you were looking at me, and I was looking at you, and she was standing right behind you, and I think she said,
she did. Yeah.
If I remember correctly, and then you said, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we loaded the car up. Yeah. I strapped it down, and I hit the highway as quick as I could to get far away from you as I could, so before you changed your mind.
And I watch the video all the time. As soon as it comes out, it's exciting. It's like
Project 308.
Oh, absolutely.
Awesome.
It's like something a series.
Yeah.
Like a series on some of these Netflix, if I could say that or whatever. You wait for the series to come out. That's how I am with this.
Now, do you look at it and go, oh my God, I can't believe he's butchering it?
No, actually, you're doing a fantastic job. Really. I wasn't too sure, like originally when you got it, what you were going to do or how you were going to do it or take it apart completely. But it's come along really good. And and
since you've segued so perfectly into that, you've been watching the episodes. What do you think?
Yeah, it's a lot. There's a lot. There's I enjoy seeing you work on it, other than me. Right? Because it would have been, busted knuckles, cut fingers. It's not an easy car. It's not an
You know
easy
what?
car.
Technically, it's not that difficult. It's just that there are times where it's a hand-built wannabe production car.
Yeah.
Is that a fair way of saying it?
Yeah, I would say so.
Because Ferrari during this period was trying to create an assembly line, but I don't think they did it very well.
Yeah, it was. I guess it was, right?
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure they didn't have computers and all this other stuff that, you know, can have an automated assembly line.
Yeah. But what I find funny is that car there is a 66, this is a 78.
Yeah.
And the engineering on that car is leaps and bounds better than this.
Is that right?
And this thing's a newer vehicle.
Yeah.
You can see that was made under a precision microscope.
Yeah.
This one, not so much.
You know, the series have been very interesting watching.
Yeah.
And, you know, stuff I didn't even know, you know, that you would have to do, like the steering column, you know, because I was just moving it around in my garage.
Yeah.
I didn't know the steering column needed all that work. And you know, the nice thing, too, is, you could have just took a whole assembly and put it in.
Yeah.
You did it piece by piece, right?
Yeah.
So, which is very hard. And you know what I really like too is the series is anybody that has one of these cars now can watch your series and do it themselves.
Well, you know what? And it's turned into a little bit more. It's turned into a thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When I did part number 1, I'm like, maybe I'll make a half a dozen.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, people are like, no, I like that. And I'm like, really? You know, and all the time I got the camera in front of my face and I'm trying to look around it and I'm like trying to do the work, and it's become a skill level to be able to film everything and work on it, because I watch a lot of YouTube videos actually, and they do summaries and stuff like that. And I just don't feel there's a lot of technical information for people.
No, not the way like you do.
Yes.
Yeah, you go right down. You go right down to the bones, right?
Yeah.
It's, now, do you do you enjoy doing the car, or do you enjoy doing this series?
I enjoy everything about it.
Yeah.
So for me, do you miss being a flat rate mechanic?
No, today, no.
No, we're at that age now where I'm like,
it's,
you know, pounding, you know, turning wrenches all day long for a timetable. And no. Do I love this car? Yes, because I could take my time with it.
Yeah.
The video series has done fairly well for me. I mean, it's encouraged me to do more of them. And like I say, I'm probably going to be at Project 308, Part 308 before you know it.
Yeah.
But I've realized that there's a lot of people who have these cars, and they're sort of looking for that information. And hey, if I can give them a bit of information and they can somehow fix their own car because of that, all the better, right?
Yeah, I think you're doing an amazing thing for the 308 world. What were you like when you saw the engine was done? Was rebuilt, which I didn't know.
Dude.
I didn't know. That was the big thing with this car, is the engine.
Well, see, I first got the first clue I got was the clutch. So when I pulled the transmission off and I looked at the clutch, it was brand new. Even though it had been sitting for years and years and years and years, I'm like, oh, it's got a brand new clutch in it. I'm like, maybe I could save that.
Yeah.
Throw that aside. And then when I separated the engine from the engine and the transmission are separate. And then I'm like, oh, it looked okay. And it wasn't until I flipped it over.
Oh, is that when then you saw?
Yeah, when I flipped it over, and I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to take a look at the bearings. And then I saw that the crank had been ground.
Wow.
And I'm like, Terry's right. Terry, I'm like, Terry, does that look like that's been repaired? He's like, yep. And I'm like, oh, maybe. And then that's when I started looking, right? I'm like, and then I have a friend who's an engine rebuilder.
Yeah.
And he just happened to be here at the same time because he was a friend of Terry's. And I'm like, tell me I'm not crazy. And he's looking at it, he's like, yeah, that's been rebuilt.
Wow.
I'm like, oh, yeah.
You know what? Something as a friend, I was so happy.
Yeah.
I was like, I felt really good. You know what I mean? Because if you don't know, right? And that's the other thing when you sell something to a friend, you don't know. And you know, I was really hesitant to sell this. The body was pretty decent.
You know what? I haven't had any, other than that rusty mount, because it's had an accident at the left, like a minor one. Like other than that, I've had essentially nothing that has kicked me in the balls.
Or the hinges.
Oh, yeah.
Those look like a lot of work.
They were a lot of work.
Yeah, that was.
They were.
I was like, when I saw that, I was like, well, yeah, Rob, maybe this was a blessing to sell it, right?
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah, they were tough.
That was tough, but you did a great job. Like,
Thank you.
fantastic job.
Yeah.
You know, you shaped the metal, put it together.
Yeah.
Like, I just love that.
Yeah.
That was just great. The hatch now, the trunk, does it open?
It's not on the hinges yet,
Okay.
and I'm missing. So you know, I have the grill here.
Yeah.
But I'm missing all the pieces underneath.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I'm probably gonna make those.
Yeah. 3D, right?
Well, no, I'm probably gonna have to scavenge and source and find pictures, and cause it's the stuff that isn't listed online. Like, you know, when you go to Superformance and stuff like that, and the big sites, all the hard parts, you can get everything for that, but the parts that you don't think of, like, where am I gonna find the screen underneath the vent? I'm not gonna find it. I'm gonna have to somehow make it. So do you got any regrets? Do you regret selling it to me?
You know, I have to admit, it is a lot of work. I would have never had the time. You know, the kids are super active.
Yeah, they are, yeah.
I couldn't even, like, it would still be sitting in my garage. And I'm really happy that it went to someone that's using it, they're gonna use it, putting it together, restoring it. I'm really happy for that. You know, I think it was meant to go to you, and I'm glad you got it.
All right.
So, I would have been sad if it got parted out. What's next?
Next is put the front end back together. I want to be able to set it on the ground if I need to move it. Like I said, the hoist is going a little out of kilter. Yeah. So this side's a little bit sitting. So I can set it on axle stands and readjust it, but I want to get the front back together. Then I've got to work on my cooling fans, because one cooling fan is just completely dead. And I'm going to try and make something. I'm going to try and buy some contemporary fans. And make
more efficient ones.
Yeah, more efficient ones that put out more CFM. And I have my 3D plasma table. I'm going to try and make a kind of retro looking mount.
Cool. I like
we'll see how it works.
This was the way to do it too.
Yeah.
Right?
There's the two theories, right? Like, strip the damn thing, put every part in the box, and then try and figure out how to put it back together. Or do it here. Here. Now,
you couldn't do the series.
I couldn't do the series. No, exactly. If I had done it that way, it would have been too disjointed. And I didn't mean to. It was a pandemic paint job, is what I call it, because, you know, like I'd said in a previous episode, Lawrence it was the time to do it. Because he gave me a deal. And I'm like, okay, I'll take that deal while you're not busy. And because if he was busy now, I would feel bad, kind of saying, give me that deal we were talking about, because he did a great job. He put so much time into it.
When I showed someone pictures of the grill, I think it was a parts guy, and he said, yeah, that grill, it's a special grill. I can't remember, but I think it's a Euro grill. That's what it is.
That's cool.
And that's right. It's a Euro grill. And the bumper, it doesn't have the US spec bumpers where they stick out.
Thank Christ.
Yeah.
Oh.
These ones.
Thank you.
Yeah, the bumper fits in nice flush. It's good looking.
Oh, yes, because I was worried about that.
Yeah. No, I guess you didn't even open the boxes yet?
Well, the boxes are, dude, there's parts everywhere. All those are the parts up there. There's parts upstairs. There's parts everywhere.
The bumper is beautiful. And it's worth a fortune. I didn't know it's worth a lot of money, right? Yeah, so if you want to pay me more than you paid for it, but...
No.
No, okay.
All right, Rob, let's sign off.
Good to see you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming out.
Drive it?
2022, 2023. Part 308 will be you driving it.
Hey, that'd be cool. That'd be cool.
All right, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you in I haven't got used to this, but in season 2, part 2. You want to tighten up a bit? Okay.
Lights?
Oh, lights, yep, sorry. Headlights.